2015 was a great year for gaming. To celebrate the end of the year, we thought we'd look back at some of the most epic, memorable moments that defined our favorite games. Let's get started. Snake's first encounter with Sahelanthropus, the Phantom Pain's imposing bipedal tank developed by Huey Emmerich, occurs at the end of a long, grueling infiltration mission. Most games would have you go in guns blazing during a confrontation like this, but Metal Gear Solid isn't most games. Instead, you're left feeling small, vulnerable, and encumbered against a sinister new adversary, tasked with finding cover across Afghanistan's rocky terrain to avoid its line of sight and make it to the landing zone undetected. It's a tense and terrifying sequence that makes your eventual final encounter with Sahelanthropus in a later mission that much more powerful. Destiny: The Taken King was all about the ominous shadow on the horizon. The premise focused squarely on the inevitability of Oryx arriving to exact his horrific paternal vengeance. The buildup of Oryx's terrible power was a thing of myth, until the Taken King met the Awoken Queen. The opening cinematic shows the epic moment when Oryx shrugs off Queen Marasov's attacks before leveling her entire armada, and his, in one blast of the Dreadnought's weapon. The destruction was so complete that it left a permanent hole in the rings of Saturn and gave us the first taste of Oryx's true power. Things aren't exactly normal in Yharnam at the start of From Software's Twisted Souls follow-up, Bloodborne. While innocent townspeople take refuge indoors, all manner of deranged beasts run amok in the streets outside. It's a bloody mess. But things don't get really weird until you arrive in Bergenworth, take that leap of faith into the lake, and encounter your first great one, Rom, the vacuous spider. Slaying Rom and her otherworldly spiderlings is a major turning point in the early hours of Bloodborne. You get your first glimpse of Yharnam, the Pthumerian queen, the blood moon descends over the city, the lesser amygdala become tangible, and you realize for the first time the true weight of the cosmic horror hidden behind Bloodborne's classically gothic facade. In Halo 5 Guardian's 13th mission, Genesis, Jameson Locke and Fireteam Osiris magnetize themselves to the body of a Guardian to keep from, well, plummeting to their doom on the planet below. What follows is an exhilarating sprint down the body of a monolithic creature en route to the surface. It's a dizzying, brief bit of stunning spectacle and scale. It also shakes up the combat, giving you more room to pull off sweet headshots while airborne, if you decide to fight at all rather than blitzing by everyone on your way down. In a campaign that was mostly a letdown, this was an incredible, unforgettable moment. We knew that Fallout 4 was going to have power armor, and we knew it was going to have death claws, but we didn't expect the introduction of the two to come in barely an hour into the game, and at the same time. There you are, sitting on a roof, gloating about how easily you can mow down raiders, when a hulking deathclaw starts tearing up the street. It was an exciting, tense way to introduce both of those things, but also epic in how quickly it manages to remind you that no matter how great your gear is, you're never entirely safe in the wasteland. There are plenty of standout moments in Tales from the Borderlands, but the one to rule them all is the hilarious finger gun shootout from Escape Plan Bravo. It starts with protagonist Reese attempting to pass himself off as the president of Hyperion, which quickly escalates into a battle of opposable digits after an angry employee confronts Vasquez over an accounting issue. The unspoken agreement among the participants to treat the imaginary duel seriously is what makes the scene so great. The firefight goes on until only the hero and a single oblivious janitor are left standing. It's definitely absurd, but the well-crafted choreography and sporadic commands that prompt you to react to increasingly ridiculous scenarios make this mission an absolute blast to play. The Witcher 3's Bloody Baron is extremely unlikable. He's coarse, brutish, weak-willed, and unable to keep his anger from hurting the people he loves. But it's these flaws that makes him a believable character, so when he's holding the twisted remains of the child he failed to protect from himself and recites an ancient rite in an attempt to lift its curse, something extraordinary happens. He shows true, unmistakable remorse for his actions. In a game filled with ancient race wars, monstrous creatures, and enough blood and sex to fill a season of Game of Thrones, the most spectacular moment is a man realizing the weight of the unforgivable things he's done. Sometimes the most epic moments are the ones we create for ourselves. Few things were quite as satisfying this year as designing a marvelously obnoxious Mario Maker stage and then watching a friend try to cope with the abuse. But it was also great to see them adapt to every challenge put in front of them, persevering through the onslaught we'd created and achieving a truly epic victory. Black Ops 3's Demon Within mission continued the mind-bending aspects of the campaign with a trip into the nightmare world of Soldier Sarah Hall. Inside Sarah's mind, we had to fight our way through a World War II battle as the landscape changed and shifted Inception style. It's a fascinating sequence that harkens back to old Call of Duty campaigns, from World War II collectibles to taking down a German Tiger tank. It's also a critical point in unraveling the story, and seeing the darkest parts of Sarah's mind was unforgettably impactful. No matter how you choose to play Undertale, the final fight will crush your heart and possibly leave you with nightmares. The battle plays by its own rules in the most obscure ways and completely warps the structure of the typical boss fight. It's visually appalling, and playing it feels impossible, but despite the utter insanity of it all, the final fight is awesome. And so are a lot of things from the many amazing games 2015 had to offer. We weren't able to cover them all, so don't forget to share your most epic gaming moments from this year in the comments below. For more on all things gaming, you're already in the right place. IGN.